Welcome. How you doing today, sir? Welcome to King Legend Talks.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
It's a blessing to have you in the building today. I just want to say I want to extend my thank you for you taking out the time and your busy schedule to do this interview.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Everybody, this is the one and only Red Grant running for mayor of DC. How does it feel?
It feels real good, man. It feels it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing to be called to run for mayor of Washington D.C. to come back to where I grew up at and where I was born and raised and bred to be able to bless other people. So it's a good time right now.
Absolutely. It takes a certain type of person to run for mayor. It's not something people typically do unless they're truly passionate about it. After having such a successful career in comedy, what makes you want to run for mayor and why now?
I was called to run for mayor, like I said, when I came home. Started talking to friends and constituents and neighbors, and a lot of people in Washington D.C. asked me to run for public office. So I knew I didn't want to run for the council because I'm not a legislator. I didn't want to run for council chair because I'm not a legislator. And I had to lean on my background as being an executive producer and an executive in this film and television business that I've been in for so long, and employing thousands of people, working with millions of dollars in budgets, and just having stream after stream before it was stream. So I decided to talk to my wife, and we agreed, and she was down 1,000% that I was going to run for the executive office of the mayor. It's only right. The mayor, whoever runs the mayor's office, has to understand about running a corporation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the biggest people when it comes to running a corporation right now. My career has been centered around running a corporation. I know people know me from doing comedy and all of that, but that's only 10% of my life. The other 90% is, working for Viacom Network, creating shows for them, 24 exactly, and just having an ability to work good with people. If you come on my sets, you'll see the energy and the love, and I want to bring that type of energy and love back to our city. That love, care, and respect that we deserve to have and we need to have for one another.
Absolutely. The election is coming up, I believe, in November the 8th.
Yep.
What changes do you think need to be a priority right now for the city?
Definitely public safety, but that all starts with youth programming. I feel like, my program, Don't Shoot Guns, Shoot Cameras, has been one of those programs that set a standard of how youth do want to be involved, and they do want to learn, and they do want to grow and be around different things. So I think just tapping into our youth is a big situation, and that's all youth in the city.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure that all youth have the opportunity to express their interests and do things that they like to do.
Absolutely.
And it's a time for us to be very innovative because our youth are not like they were 20 years ago.
Not at all.
We got to step our game up, and we got to put things in place so our youth will see things that they like to do. They like gamings, they like to film, they like to TikTok, they like to do things that people, young people like to do, and we need to cater to those situations because they become designers, they can become entrepreneurs in their own real early right now, and really make money right now in those fields. So we just try to motivate our youth. I want to continue to motivate our youth, but public safety is the key because once you deal with programs, you start putting real programs in place. Then you have an opportunity to change lives and take kids from where they might be trying to get in trouble to not wanting to get in trouble. So, it starts with that for me.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. What was it like for you to grow up in DC? What experiences did you go through growing up as a DC native that makes you a great fit for the people?
I mean, to me, it was fun. Growing up in DC gives you ability to understand and be very aware.
Mm-hmm.
Teaches you how to be aware. And I think that that's helped me in my career, just being around a lot of people. DC people can get along with anybody. We can
Right.
go anywhere in the world and get along with people. So just growing up in the nation's capital gave me that heart that I deserve. It gave me that culture that I deserve, and
Mm-hmm.
share with the nation. And it gave me that ability to have a personality.
And
Uh,
that's a big deal.
I think that's the key to life: having a personality, being able to smile even if you're sad, being able to give that energy even when you're not feeling like giving that energy. You know,
Right.
digging real deep in yourself and just maintaining that personality. So I think our city already has a personality, but it's off a little bit. But I think they're ready to switch it back on, and I think that comes to leadership.
Absolutely. Part of being a good leader is being a good communicator.
I agree.
People have to understand your message. That's the only way a lot of people even follow you because they have to believe that you know what you're talking about and that you're confident in what you're doing.
Right. You know, and a lot of times people want me to feel bad about being an entertainer, right? And they always want to build a certain, he's a certain way because he's come from the entertainment world. But what they don't understand is that side has definitely groomed me, and I'm never going to push that to the side and say, nah, I wasn't that. No, that thing made me really who I am, and I think it's a big part of what's going to allow me to be one of the greatest mayors to ever be in D.C. No one
Absolutely.
will ever be greater than Marion Barry to us, but if we can get a little bit of his energy, just how he dealt with the people and how he
Hmm.
came back and loved everybody and was personable with people, not just hey, how you doing and gone, but actually being there and staying there.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you truly embrace who you are and where you come from. You're not trying to take away from none of that, and
Uh,
you're just building on that to become even better version of yourself today.
well, I always tell people don't let people put you in a box. You
Right.
never let people put you in a box because then you starting to be who they think you should be. God got visions for us, and He's going to move you into those places that you're supposed to be, and you just have to follow those visions and never look at yourself as just being that one person. You know, and now look at your career. If
Absolutely.
you really follow other people's advice, you wouldn't be sitting here, and we wouldn't be talking to one another. You know,
That's
I
the truth.
that's a powerful situation for us to teach our youth and teach each other that we can be more than what you think we can be, and we are.
Hmm.
We kings and queens, and we come from that, and we're going to restore our king and queendom back to our society, and it's going to allow society to understand and look at us differently and respect us.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Moving forward, since we're talking about the youth, I was just thinking about it. It's always said that the reason kids aren't educated in the finances is because the school system purposely isn't teaching them this. As a businessman like yourself, how important is it to understand money and how it works? And if given the opportunity as mayor, what changes would you like to see happen with the current school system?
It's important to understand what how money is is made, how you can earn it and lose it, and how credit is important to your life, right?
Right.
So, credit is super important. I think that's something that should be taught to kids when they're as early as elementary, middle school. I think that they need to learn that this is something that you can use to better your future, right?
Hmm.
Getting credit cards and spending up money and just, understand how to be frugal and save. Saving is everything, and putting that saving to work for you. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of kids don't get that education early, so they end up spending a little money that they have on things that's not going to be worth anything instead of investing that little money to make that little money grow. And these are the things that I want to implement into our schools. I want to bring back trades into our schools so our kids can learn job opportunities and have job opportunities when they leave school because every kid don't want to go to college.
That's true.
So we got to implement programs that they want to do in school and are interested in doing in school. So, the school system is super important for me. Our education system It's not really good in DC right now, but it can be better. It ain't bad.
Yeah.
Definitely could be better. It definitely, can be better. I
Oh,
think that the teachers are underpaid. I think they have low morale because of that situation, and we got to start listening to the teachers, and we got to put some of these great teachers in place and respect them, and give
yeah.
them security. Because a lot of times these kids, these teachers go to school and they dealing with kids with different issues, and we got to protect our teachers also, so they can,
Shout
have.
out to all the teachers out there. They put up such a big task, and a lot of times they don't get the thanks they deserve. They really do be working hard.
They work hard, and they need raises. They need to be some of the highest paid people in the city.
I was doing my research and I discovered that, just how involved you are in your city. You put together programs for the youth. And then even at one point in your life, you used to actually coach, like football, baseball, even swimming for the DC Parks and Recreation. From your experience of being a positive role model in the youth, what would you say impacts their ability to progress? And what plans do you have in place to keep them motivated for success?
Well, I'm gonna always be Coach Grant. I'm gonna always be Coach Grant. When I left Savannah State and came home, I started working for the Department of Parks and Recreation, DPR, and I coached so many young men who now, at that time I was 19 and they probably was 10, 11, 12, 13.
Right.
And I wasn't looking at them like they're gonna be calling me Coach Grant too now, and they older, and, it's amazing to see these young men grew up, and the stories that they tell me. Like, I'm glad you coached me, Coach Grant. I'm glad you was in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being myself. But it's very important for us as men to give back to our youth, and if we don't do that, they fall to the wayside. And
Right.
I still coach kids. Like every program that I have, I feel like I'm a coach.
A coach at 19, that's a big deal. I don't know if it is to you because you probably already used to that kind of thing, but I'm just saying from a person looking on the outside looking in, a 19-year-old coach that says I want to be a leader and I want to inspire and lift other people up to me. What role did your parents play in your life, and what were some of the lessons they taught you that you'll never forget?
Um, my parents taught me a lot. My mother, she taught me how the work ethic that I need to have.
Mm-hmm.
How important work ethic is. She made me clean up the block. She made me plant flowers. She made me get a job real early, 2 jobs real early. She worked 2 jobs. And, after her and my father divorced,
Mm-hmm.
she's still able to take care of those 2 kids by herself. And my father was there, and he taught me how to be a man, just like, how to control your emotions, how to deal with life. Uh, but I appreciate both of my parents. Like, both of my parents were in my life, and to this day, they still in my life. So,
Right.
shout out to my mother and my father, and my stepmother and my stepfather, and all my stepsisters.
Absolutely.
And just
Shout them out. Sound like you had some support.
had a lot of support. Still have
That's
support.
good. That's good.
I had an older sister that was able to beat me up long enough to make me tough.
How does that work? How does that work?
I mean, when you got a sister, she 1 year older than you. She knows she tougher than you. That beats you up to a certain age. It's an amazing situation. But then I got to a point where she couldn't beat me up no more. So I was so happy.
I know that's right. In one of your recent interviews I was watching, you stated that you are a humanitarian, not a politician.
Correct.
Can you elaborate for us?
I'm a humanitarian first. I feel like it's a hard job being a politician, but it's very learnable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard job being a humanitarian, but you can't learn how to be a humanitarian. They got to
Right.
be in you. They got to be something that's bred into your spirit. So I've been a humanitarian for a long time, a philanthropist, able to give back, truly blessed to be in that position to give back. And I'm never going to change being humanitarian because I'm running for office.
Right.
I am going to understand how to deal in the political world, but they have to know they're getting a humanitarian, somebody that's going to be dealing with you directly, personally. And
right.
That's
humanitarians for the people.
Yeah, and that's why I would say purpose over popularity.
Yeah.
I didn't come back to run for mayor because I needed no money.
We know that.
I didn't come back to run for mayor because I needed clout. I've been famous since I was 19. So
right.
It's definitely a purpose for me. When you get called to do something, you have to do it. And
so, you travel the U.S. and in the world, I like to say, a lot in your life. How connected do you feel to the people in D.C.?
How connected?
Yeah. How connected do you feel?
I am D.C. I feel like I ride on their shoulders and they ride on my shoulders. That's why when anybody ever question my ability to be a Washingtonian, I tell them, don't check my Washingtonian card. I was born with a Redskin blanket on. I was born on the same day Dallas played the Redskins, and my father didn't leave the house until the game was over. I was busting out. So
you said your father didn't leave the house until the game was over?
Till the game was over. That's a real story. And my mother would tell you, and my father would tell you that same story. And when they got my mother to the hospital, my head was halfway out.
Wow.
And they put a Redskin blanket on me immediately. So
hey, don't feel bad. I was born in a parking lot in front of the hospital. I couldn't make it in.
And look at God made you. Look at God.
Hey, we all gotta get here some way. At least I was in front of the hospital.
Yeah, you was in front of the hospital. You made it, brother.
right. In a big city, keeping the crime rate is always key to having public safety and everything. So what plans do you have in place right now to keep the crime rate down in DC?
Well, the crime is 25% more than it was 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're 25% unsafer in DC now than you were 10 years ago. The murder rate is crazy. And it all starts, for me, with the leadership. I think public safety starts at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you are a mayor and you don't get along with the council, and the council ain't getting along with the mayor, all that trickles down to public safety for me.
Right.
You have to be a leader that can definitely cross lines. And that's why, I've been a Democrat my whole life, right? And I'm running as an independent because of the simple fact I want to be able to cross lines. I don't want to deal with party politics. I want you to understand that you can keep your party, but think independently.
That's deep. That's deep.
I'm not telling nobody to become independent, but think independent.
Yeah.
Keep your.
I think that's important. You don't want to put yourself in a box.
No. So keep your party, but keep your independence.
Keep your party, but keep your independence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and I tell people, when you go and you pull that lever and you go to vote this November 8th, it's only one person you should be voting for. Look for it, Rodney Red Grant, because we're gonna make some changes together, and we're gonna finally be in a position that we're listening to each other again, and we're leading with each other.
Absolutely. When the cameras are turned off, you had a long day, and you're thinking about your future and the goals that you have. What type of things are you focused on right now?
Well, I take my suit off and throw it in the corner. Now,
That's real.
I put my sweatpants and my hoodie on. Now I think about a lot of things. I'm able to. I have a strong family system, so I talk to my wife a lot, and she's a super important individual in my life.
Right.
She just retired as a police officer, so she kind of give a perspective. We kind of have our different perspectives, but similar perspectives. She's also a Hall of Fame basketball player, and she gives back to the youth, just like me. So we talk about how we can do more for our communities.
Absolutely.
We also try to look at some great movies, and when I get a chance, I like to go play golf. You know, it's a sport that's taught me so much how to have integrity, learn how to lose and win.
Absolutely.
And one day might be different than the next day, and you got to be able to deal with all of it.
You know, they say a lot of business is conducted on a golf course. Is that true?
It is a lot. Millions of dollars are being exchanged on a golf course on a daily basis.
Let me go ahead and get on this golf course real quick.
Yeah, you ain't even got to be good. Just get out there.
I'm going to go out there. Wait, does Top Golf count?
Yeah, that's where you get your practice.
Okay, absolutely. I'm going to have to get over there, Top Golf, and I'm going to get some golfing going on.
Hey,
Definitely.
You should.
Okay, on this show, we like to inspire people to follow their dreams. That's one of the main things of this program. You've been successful in many business ventures, and you've already had a career of being a public figure since you said 19. In the entertainment industry, you got so much experience in a lot of different walks in life. What do you say is the secret to all of your success?
Longevity. I feel like you always got to be reinventing yourself. I was talking to some of my brothers in the studio tonight just about how to stay relevant and reinvent yourself. You can never think you're bigger than the future. You can never think and look down on the youth. You always got to engage and understand that if you're a leader of the culture, you have to be a leader of the culture. I.e. the Sean Combs and the Jay-Z's, the Snoops, and I feel like I'm involved with that. I feel like Cat's involved with that. I feel like it's so many people who have longevity in their career, and longevity starts with just putting smart people around you. Leadership starts at the top like a crown chakra, and it has to trickle down, and people feel that energy. They know if it's real or if it's fake. I think that's the key to my career, just being able to continue to reinvent myself. Always say yes to things that are new. When Def Jam was Def Jam, I was on Def Jam. When Comic View was on Comic View, I was on Comic View.
Right.
Shaq All Star was Shaq All Star, I was on Shaq All Star. When Cat Williams became Cat Williams, I was with Cat Williams.
Making moves.
Yeah, and I feel like at all the movies that I've been involved with, all 15, 16 of them, is, me saying yes. From the Leprechauns in the Hoods to the First Sundays.
Yeah.
All of them are something that I look back and they're a part of my puzzle. And my puzzle is over. So I'm still putting pieces in and building what the picture is going to look like.
That's awesome, man. So what accomplishment in your life so far would you say you're the most proud of?
Most proud of being a good son, being a good husband.
That is the best answer anyone's ever answered for that question.
Yeah, because it's not easy. That's not an easy job.
Yeah.
Being a good son, listening to what your parents say, or trying not to defame your wife, or we out here in a society that anything can happen.
Right.
And you got choices to make out here. And I just pray to God every day that I make the right ones when I'm faced with them. So yeah, those are some of my big accomplishments in my career. I think being a executive producer, producing films and television, writing for some of the biggest celebrities in the world.
Right.
Just being a creative individual and not letting people, stop my creativity.
I love it. You know, with an answer like that, being a great son and a great husband, like, if you guys don't want to vote for him yet, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think he got it all together right now. He's focused. He got his plans ready to go. Greg Grant for mayor of DC, y'all. That's
so much. And I tell them all the time, you can go to grantformayordc.com and follow my platform and see how, if you look at all the other candidates' platforms and their website, you're going to be like, oh, man. But when you see our website and our platform, it's really, it's technically sound where everybody understands it. And it's going places. You got to align yourself. You got to align yourself with the solutions. You know what I mean? And understand the problems. So once you understand the problems and align yourself with the solutions, then you can help people.
Right.
But if you don't understand the problems and you can't align yourself with the solutions, then you are off. There's no way that you can run a city.
If you don't know what's going on, you like the blind leading the blind.
Correct. So, I always tell people, stay focused, stay positive, respect one another. That's why my whole platform starts with love, care, and respect.
And then we need a lot of that.
Then we can get into public safety, and we can get into affordable housing, and we can get into our homeless problems and our poor education. But we gotta have love, care, and respect.
Right.
When we have that, we're gonna be a whole different society.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Caring for one another and lifting each other up.
Heck yeah.
Now, when people are thinking of the great Red Grant for mayor, what is one of the first things you want people to know about you? If nobody knows anything about you, like they've never heard of you before, but they are born and raised in DC and they got to vote, what is one of the first things you want them to know about you?
That I take life serious. I take the things that are in front of me super serious. My career has been one to entertain people, but even in my entertainment, I took that super serious. I write every day, all day. Anything I'm faced with, I take it super serious, and I always show up. If I got 19 meetings, I'm gonna fit you into that pull-up, and I just think that's a good part of who I am. Not forgetting about the community, and once you can pull up on your community, no matter who they are, because our community is huge in DC. It's African Americans, it's Africans. That's who we are. We Africans. It's Europeans. It's Asians. It's Latinos. It's all kind of beautiful people. It's LGBTQ. Our community is huge right now. So you got to be able to understand everybody and pull up on everybody and not put yourself in a box. So yeah, if you vote for Red, it's because he's going to be that person to always pull up on you and always be there and smiling and give you the answers, the real answers, not just a political answer because you need to hear it. So.
And I got one last question for you, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you is a busy man, and you out there doing everything you can right now to promote the city and keep everything going in a positive direction. My last question for you is, what message do you have for anyone right now that is listening to this podcast?
I always tell people, lean on who you are, right? Like, don't try to be nobody else. Live in the moment, like right now. Don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Live in the moment right now. Because if you live in the moment right now and you understand where you are right now, then you understand that you're in a great place, a place of living. You can't think about what's ahead of you. You can't think what happened behind you. You got to say, I made it to right now. And tomorrow I'll deal with the right now event. But deal with your right now. And don't let other people control what your emotions are. And I know they try. And I know you want to act off of them, but don't act off your emotions. find a place to have peaceful, find meditation, find prayer, find individuals that to be around that's like you, and you're gonna be all right.
There we have it, y'all. That's Red Grant for mayor.
I was truly blessed to be here tonight. Thank you so much.
Be a king and a legend, boy. That's a big one, huh?
It ain't enough to just be a king.
And you got the lion in the background, boy. You's a dangerous guy, man.
You are put through the fire. The only thing that kept me going was I knew it was going to happen. I believed it was going to happen.
So I used to print out that list, and I would put my name at the top. I would white out the person on the top, and I'd put my name. And I would print out that list, and I'd keep it in my pocket for the next 4 months. Until one day, the email that I got had my name at the top.